Hi everyone, and welcome to a Christmas episode of the Hitchhiker's Guide to ServiceNow. We're up to number 8 actually, and today it's kind of a follow-up from last episode where we actually talked about the dependencies in the multi-row variable sets, where a question pop up: how can I do dependencies on other variables, for example select boxes and so on. So we're going to go through a couple of examples on what you can do and how you can do it. And like always, I never get the PowerPoint to work. Come on, there we go. So who is talking? It's me, Goran Lundqvist, aka the Witch Doctor. Been working a lot with ServiceNow, and if you haven't seen or heard about me before, you can read a little bit about me on the right. And if you want to connect and talk ServiceNow or anything else, just hit me through some of the social medias you can see down to the bottom left over there. But enough about me. Like I always say, let's talk about what we're going to do instead. So we're going to take a little bit look how we can set it up. We're going to take a look about reference fields, which is pretty much what we looked at the last episode, but just a walkthrough. And if you haven't seen that episode, of course, you can see it now as well. We're going to take a look about select boxes and what we call the lookup select boxes. And of course, why have the same name on the variables as on the form where it's called choices, for example, instead. We're going to take a look how you can do it with a catalog client scripts. We're also going to take a look about having custom choice tables and so on. And of course, how can we reuse the choices if we already have them defined on another field in the tables. In this example, we're going to take the category and the subcategory and make them dependent on each other on the portal or the catalog themselves. So let's skip the PowerPoint. There we go. And in my case, I have stolen the Adobe Creative Cloud catalog item and just added a few more variables into that one. So let's see if we can get that one to load. There we go. Basically, I made 10 different variables. We'll deep dive into them soon. Just to show you, we have two reference fields which are dependent on each other. In this case, I will select the manager, and then I will only get the users that has that manager as a manager in the user record. Then we will have dependencies with select boxes, where we have two select boxes and one lookup select box, so you can see the differences. And then we have the lookup select boxes, which reuses the incident category and subcategory. So let's take a look at the first one, which basically is that if I click on this one now, you can see that I almost get everyone, or I get everyone, I guess. And then I'll go and put in myself as a manager. And when I click on the user ref now, you can see I only get 8. And I get those 8 that I am actually in the manager field of. So just to prove it, I'll just take that one and I'll duplicate. Let's search up Aileen and see that I am actually, and of course we don't have the manager field out, so let's do the quick way. Show XML, scroll down to manager, and you can see the manager is me. You got my name and the sysid of my user record. So that's how it looks like. And let's take a look how that one is set up then. So basically I have two fields, these two. The first one is a normal reference field to the user table. Let's open up both of them just to show you. So the first one, we haven't done anything besides put a reference to the user table, put in the filters that you would like if you don't want to see all of them, as you can see. And then on the second one, which is the users, where is the place where I do the magic, and I go actually to the advanced reference qualifier, and then in this case I use JavaScript to say that, hey, I would like to do some coding. I'll say that the manager field oh, excuse me, I'm just gonna take a quick sip of water. So we say that the manager field on the user record should be equal to, and then I actually say that this is the manager reference field. You can see that the name of that field. So the value on the user records for the manager field should be equal to the value I have here. This is the only thing you need to do to make sure that you have dependencies on two reference fields in the catalog. And you can see it works the same. I went through the portal as well. System admin. And then I only got those 8 here as well. So if I put the enable, I don't get any hits, for example. So this is the quickest way in my eyes to make dependencies. Use two reference fields if that's possible. Good to notice is that when you're using the portal, you actually get them as a drop down anyway, so sometimes that might be the easiest way. And as you know, it might look different through the old UI of the service catalog than through the portal, but that's another topic I guess we need to talk to another day. Next step is the select boxes. So let's get rid of these two variables and let's take a look at the select boxes. So we basically have 3 of those. We have 2 select boxes and 1 lookup select box. So let's take a look at the first one. And select boxes are kind of annoying because they're not that advanced as the choices are, when you can actually have the dependent field like you have on category and subcategory and just easily make them dependent on each other. Here you actually need to make a client script if you want the select boxes to be dependent, because otherwise they will only load the values or the choices when the form is loading and doesn't care when you change stuff. So basically you can see we have a select box. Down here you can see I have 3 different choices you can actually select with 3 different values. Subcategory basically look the same because we can't actually do anything like the advanced with it on reference qualifier. So basically I have a couple of other categories or choices here as well with other values just to keep them separated. And then for the last one I have actually made my own choice table just to separate that one. So let's take a look at that one. Hopefully I made an application, and so basically you can see that I pinpointed which variables are these choices for. It's pretty same as the choice table as well. We have a label, we have a value, and then I added the dependent field. So when I have category with value 1, I want these 3 to be visible, value 2, these 2, and value 3, these 2. And I do that by, in this case, saying that look up the values from this table. I would like the value field to be the field called value, which is this field, and I want the lookup label, the U label, which is actually this field. So I define, say, okay, the values of the choices are coming from this field, the labels that the user says are coming from this field. Then I do pretty much the same as I did with the reference fields. I hit the JavaScript to say that I'm doing some coding. I define to say the U variables, the only ones I would like to return are the ones that has this value in this field, and that is of course this. And the reason for that is, of course, I would like to have multiple variables and reuse this table, and then of course I only want to have the specific choices for just this variable. Then I added an and the value, and this one is pretty much the same as the manager. I says the value should be whatever I got in this one, in the category select box, and this one is the first one. So whatever I choose in the first one, I want to add it here as well. And what you need to do as well to make this work is add this one. If I don't add this one, it won't refresh when I actually change values on the first variables. Here I say that the reference qualifier elements is this field, meaning that if this field changes, this variable will reload and check, am I having the right choices? So this is very important. So you don't need this when you do reference qualifier on reference fields, but on a lookup select box you need to do this one, not only the one down here. And how does it look like? Let's see. Basically you can see this one is none, then I don't have any values here. I select category A, you can see that then suddenly I got those three. If I select B, those two and those. Now of course we talked about how this one was set up, we made that through this one, but I never really told you how this one was working, and that is because the magic is in a client script. When you have two select boxes, you need to have a client script to fix them for you. Let's go to my client script. If I scroll down, client script, set subcategory, and of course you can do this in different ways. You can of course have a script include that figure out the choices for you, and if you have a more complex one, I would recommend that one, because then you don't need to edit the client script every time you need to add a new value. But basically these are the client script that fixes my subcategory. What it does is that when I load, it actually clears all the value, because we don't want to have any value there until you have selected the category. Then we actually are clearing it if they are putting it back to empty or something like that. Then we go through, if the value is 1, meaning subcategory A, then add these two. If it's value 2, add this one. Is it value 3, add this one. And of course for all of those values we want to have this one as well. So this is the client script that are actually making, let's see, where is it? Here we go. Making this one work. Otherwise it wouldn't work for you at all. Now, just to make sure so you don't make the same mistake I usually do, as you can see we have the same functionality here. If I select B, you can see now it shouldn't work. Let me reload the page. And here we go. Now you can see that it got all the categories already from the beginning, and we didn't want that to happen. So the reason why it did work, because I noticed there myself, is that normally when you create a catalog script, the UI type is desktop by default, and then it won't trigger in the portal. So you need to put all if you want it to trigger on both places, or just the mobile/service portal if you want it to trigger only there. So I need to select all, hit save, then go back and reload, and we'll sing a Christmas song, I guess. Here we go. Scroll down, and now you can see it's working like it should. A, you get the A choices, B, you get the two B choices as well. So if you want to have two select boxes dependent on each other, you need to have a client script. But if you have a select lookup box, you don't need that. You can fix that with the reference qualifier. But don't forget to fill in this one as well. Otherwise it won't work for you. And remember, I noticed that if I do like this and save, I guess the instance is on holidays as well. Let's reload. There we go. Now you can see it doesn't work. So make sure you don't have any spaces or something like that. It can be really annoying to miss this one and it doesn't work and you think that you have done everything right, but it's just that tiny little thing that you need to do. Then last up are the lookup select boxes which reuses choices. So in this case we are reusing the incident category and the incident subcategory. So depending on what I choose on the first one, the subcategory is different. And of course that is the same as you have over here. So let's just show you. So these are the same things we would like to steal and reuse. So then afterwards, if we add a new category here, it will show up on that form as well. Just remember that. So let's go and see if we can find the last ones. Of course not that way. One more, hopefully. There we go. And I'll remove the select boxes. And incident, we don't need that either. So let's scroll down and take a look at the last variables. So I have a select box for the first one, since we don't just need to have the categories. What I have done is I can open up that one and that one like this. So the category, when you're building a select box, you can reuse choices. You can of course add them yourself. There we go. You can make your own choices, or you can say that I have actually a choice table. So you can go into and select which table, and by selecting which table you get, okay, which of the fields do you want to steal the choices for. So I just selected category and from the instant table, and then it's done. If I add questions here as well, they will be added. So then you will have both your own choices and the choices from the category field as well. Then the subcategory is pretty much like the lookup select box from earlier. I have gone in, and in this case I actually gone into the choice table, and I actually went in, and you can easily do this yourself, to just find the subcategory ones. I have done like this. Let me find the incidents. Just right click on subcategory, show choice list, and you have a start here what to find them. Now I have multi-language, so I only want to have the English one, for example. Then you just can copy query and then go back in here and add that one. And as you can know, on those choice tables, they are using the dependent value. So here you can see that you need to have hardware on the category on the instance form for this one to pop up. So I'm actually reusing this field and saying that that field should be the same as the variable. So it will only fetch me the choices that are the correct value. giving you the nice software. It will change those ones. Network, change back. If we go to the portal, it is exactly the same as you can see as well. So that was pretty much what I was talking about. I will just to show you, throw up the change client script up here on a new folder called episode 8 for you to take a quick look how it was set up if you need to have that help. And that will probably be visible before you can see this YouTube video. And here you can see all the other episodes where I have done some kind of scripting as well. I think that was about it. Yeah, it was. Hope you had a great holidays, and probably not going to make another video before New Year's Eve, so hope you have a great New Year's Eve as well, and see you in 2019.